This is the highest round achieved in every spawn room of every COD Zombies map. Everyone will be credited in the description below, so make sure you go and check them out. Going over the first map is going to be Nacturne Totem with a world record of 136. This was achieved by Art Zodiark. There's not really much more to say about this run, it's pretty difficult all things considered. The way go down pretty unfortunate, we just get double swiped, just like that, and yeah, that's the run over. Congratulations, my man. Next up, we'll be moving on to Virut with round 42. This was achieved by Shade Z, and the highest round is on the spawn side with Quick Revive in it. The Jug one is significantly lower with like 29, I believe it was. And as you can see here, all he's really doing is just training up the zombies in the only spot that is somewhat visible. And he just gets really unlucky. He gets hit once and then hit again, obviously, but the way it happens is just really sad. As you see, that's him hit once there, and then he gets hit there, and that's it. That's the game over. Incredible run, my man. We now have Shazy once again with Shinonuma with round 90. Overall, this spawn room does have a decent amount of spot to kind of run around in. For the lack of decent weapons, unfortunately, all these runs end the same way. If you get trapped or stuck, that's you pretty much done with because there's nothing you can really do to get out of the situation. Overall, though, really impressive run. Now, despite everything, I would imagine that the Derice run is probably the hardest spawn room because if you even get touched by one of the zombies, you're pretty much dead because they kind of suck you in for a hug. Amazingly, round 60 was achieved in this map, but the game ended with a freeze. This was again achieved by Shade Z, and I have a funny feeling he might be going for that Nacturne Totem world record. Now we're moving on to the Black Ops 1 world records for the first room challenge, starting off with Killer Totem with the world record of round 60. This was achieved by Tester XVI, and as you can see in the gameplay, he's part of the M14 gang. It doesn't show him going down or anything, maybe he just stops the game, but overall a very impressive run. Now moving on to a map that I think is more impressive than Killer Totem, it is 5, and the world record for this map is round 47. This was achieved by Virai, and he dies just here by getting double swiped. A really impressive round for probably the most difficult first room challenge. Now we're moving on to the Ascension first room with a world record of round 59. This was achieved by Fanku, and he resets unfortunately. The Ascension first room is a good first room because it has so much space, it has that trap that kills infinitely, but the spawns are a little slower than most of the other ones. Overall, very impressive run. What I like about these next few first room challenges is that you can get all your perks and stuff, which I find pretty cool. But starting off with Call of the Dead, we have round 63 achieved. This was achieved by Nero, and obviously by killing George, you're going to get all your perks, you're going to get the Wonder Wolf if you've done the Easter egg in Call of the Dead already. So it's probably one of the easier first room challenges as well, because again, you have a lot of space within spawn. Also using PhD Flopper as well is going to be a massive help, but unfortunately we take it down here, and I think we kind of know that that's it for us in this game. Once you lose all your perks, that's pretty much it. As you can see, he jumps into the horde and dies. A very impressive run nonetheless though. Now I was saying about these future maps, it's pretty cool because we can get perks in the first rooms, so it's going to make the run a lot easier with things like PhD, if you have a spot to utilize it, that is. But even just having Jug and other stuff as well is very useful. But the world record for Shangri-La is round 52, and this was achieved by JZ115. And after this down here, he decides to kill himself by dolphin diving into the zombies. Very impressive run. Now we have the world record run for Moon. This is round 44, and this was achieved by Zombie Legend. Obviously with Moon you have access to Jug and your Pack-a-Punch M1911s. He takes it down just here, and I think that kind of sets up the rest of the game for him, where he's like, okay, I'm not going to bother trying anymore. He takes another down here as well and uses his M1911 ammo. I think this is more of an attempt just to progress through one more round possibly. And as we can see here, he doesn't really progress that much further than he was. And this is where he dolphin dives and dies. Anyway, a very good run. Now we'll be moving on to all the Black Ops 2 first room world records, starting off with Transit. The record is round 46, but it's actually not shown in the gameplay here. All this gameplay shows up to is round 43, but it's on Zombies World Records as round 46, so I'm imagining there must be another video. I can't find it though, but we're just going to analyze this and look at the gameplay here. As you can see, he's part of the M14 gang, and he's just going around training in the spawn room. In the Transit spawn room, you obviously have Quick Revive, and that can be a major help sometimes when you take the odd down or two. Overall, very impressive run. Moving on to Bus Depot, we have round 51, which I think is kind of funny that the Bus Depot world record is higher than the Transit one. and this is again by iTakealot, who got the previous transit world record. The one good thing being stuck with something like an M14 is the fact that you're killing the zombies so slowly that hordes aren't gonna die off instantly and re-emerge. Sure, it's slow, but it's a pretty safe strat, and he takes it down here. Very impressive run. Now for town, the world record is round 74, and it's joint third, and 3 people hold this world record, but iTakealot has the best gameplay, so we're going to be using his one as an example. Obviously, you still get access to the pack-a-punch machine, some perks, and as you're going to see here, he takes a very unfortunate down. A zombie comes in from the side and hits him, and it kind of pushes him into the other zombies, but regardless, a very impressive run. Now we have Farm with the world record of 63, and this is by, again, iTakealot. He has access to a few perks on the map, these being Quick Revive and Double Tap, but in this game he's choosing to use the Olympia. Now we have Nuketown with the world record of 58, by, again, iTakealot. He takes a few hits here, and then he goes down. Very unfortunate. Next up we have Die Rise, and this is with the world record of 67. The good thing about Die Rise is obviously you have the jumping jack, so you can get all your perks in the first room. Obviously you're only limited to the Olympia foe as a weapon because the M14 is outside of the room in this map, and he gets caught on the stairs here without Quick Revive and then goes down. Very impressive run on a very bad map. Next up we have Mob of the Dead with the world record of round 40. With Mob of the Dead, obviously you're going to get your afterlife and stuff, so that'll help out as well. The holder of this world record is Inferno Martin, and throughout this whole run it just involves very smart, very accurate training, and there's a lot of clutches in this run as well. You have to be very, very intelligent and very good at the game to actually achieve this because of how tight the first room is. He takes a sad down here, but round 40 is still an incredible run on an incredible map. Now going to Buried, and the world record for this map is round 34. This world record is held by Anti-Tryhard. What he's doing here is he's using his PhD Flopper perma perk on the stairs to try and kill as many zombies as he can. This is the most effective way to get the high rounds in the first room. The only thing you have to really be careful of is messing up the strat and not landing it properly, because that can mean that PhD won't activate. And he gets stuck in here with a zombie behind him, and he has Jug, but he almost manages to get out of it, and unfortunately he dies. Moving on to our last BO2 map, Origins. The world record for this map is 56. In this first room, you're going to have access to Double Tap because of the challenge box, and there's definitely room to move around in this first room as well. It's not the most difficult, and obviously you have Quick Revive, things like that. But unfortunately we get stuck here, and then we take it down. Now we're going to Exo Slide into Exo Zombies with Outbreak, and the world record for this map being round 33, the Scotty I3. Exo Zombies is a hard enough game mode with the exosuit, let alone without the exosuit. And he's playing on the Xbox 360 version here. It looks like it might be a little bit easier than the next-gen versions of the game. I don't know, something about it, it looks a lot more open space than the zombies aren't running as fast, but I could be wrong. Unfortunately, all the weapons you have in this first room are very mediocre, which will ultimately lead to you dying at some point. And he takes his death just here after getting stuck on the wall slightly, and he gets Exo slapped and goes Exo down. A very impressive run nonetheless. You know we're getting into some old world records when you see the Relaxing Ends names pop up. We're now going over the first room challenge for Infection, and this is with the round of 39. And again, this is held by the Relaxing End. Despite this map being awful, the first room on this map is actually quite interesting, because when you stop doing the survivor rounds, what will end up happening is that the mystery box will move, and at some point it will move to the starting room. And there's also traps here as well that you can use, so yeah, you can progress quite far if you're good at movement. Regardless to say, an impressive round on a very bad map. Now we'll be moving on to Carrier with the world record of round 24. This is on the M14 side, but the Bulldog side is round 23, because this also has multiple spawn rooms. This world record was achieved by Exodus, and overall he's doing some insane like parkour here to actually get this done. He can get access to one of the traps by doing the parkour jumps he's doing here, and it looks like that's his most efficient way of killing, alongside using the MK14, and obviously your grenades and stuff. He ends up taking it down here though by just getting slapped too many times, but overall a very impressive run, and it only took him 48 minutes, which is kind of cool. Now moving on to one of the worst exozombie maps, being Descent, with the world record of round 29. And this was achieved by Latios Games, that you can see in the top right just there on the screen. And with this as well, once you get teleported to the Oz boss fights, you can actually get the mystery box. So when you go back to the first room, obviously you're going to have items you can use, which is going to give you a huge advantage into them later rounds. And obviously he gets his monkey bombs as well, which are very important, or should I say drone things. And this sets him up for an impressive round 29. He takes it down here for, unfortunately, but overall very impressive run. Now we'll be moving on to Black Ops 3's Shadows of Evil. The first room world record for this map is round 40. This was achieved by Doppio, and this first room challenge is probably one of the hardest just because of how close quarters it is, and the fact that Margwas come, you get your parasites as well. The only thing this map gives you in terms of an advantage in the first room is your pod that you have there, so you can get some decent weapons. You can see that's him achieve the round 40 just there, and he gets stuck on this zombie here, and that's the run over. Very, very impressive run. Now moving on, we have the Giant with round 51. This first room is a bit more space to train in, so it makes it a little bit easier, but still regardless, it's a very difficult map. It has no quick revive, so you can't really make any mistakes. Hellhounds can be pretty annoying on this as well, because obviously you just have to get spammed by them for you to die. You can see multiple times he almost goes down to them, but he's such a smart player and so good with his movement that he's able to get out of these bad situations. Very impressive run. Now, I had a tough time deciding should I include megas or make it just the standard first room challenge with no gobblegums. I think to keep the tradition to first room challenges where you have very little to use, we're not going to class any gobblegums in here at all, so keep in mind that there are higher rounds than the ones on this list, but we're only counting the no gobblegum runs to make it a little bit more fair. Now we're talking about Derision Draka with the world record around 45. This was achieved by Wazbags, and you can see for the most part he's using the Shiva and obviously the RK5 as well. Has that sexy 115 cam on it, and with this first room you have access to your quick revive machine obviously. Very impressive first room challenge. Now we have Zetsubo no Shima with round 54. The person that managed to get this world record is KB3KX You can see here he takes it down just in the water. The zombie gets in his way and it just fucks him over, but regardless, an impressive run. Next up we have Gorod Krovi with the world record of round 43, and this was achieved by Dims. And obviously in this you get the challenges you can complete as well, so he's able to get a Pack-a-Punch L4 Siege, which makes things a little easier. But these Maxis drones are very, very annoying, as you can see here. They just kind of fly in your face. You can see he takes a really annoying down here, but a very, very impressive run. Now we have the Revelations first room challenge with the world record of 47. With this, obviously, Panzers are going to be spawning in, Margwas are going to be spawning in, so even though it's one of the easier first room challenges in terms of what you have access to, it's harder in the sense that you have so many boss enemies spawning in, especially with something like No Gums where you can't get a fire sale and get the mystery box. You can see that the Panzer sets him on fire here and he gets hit by, I think it's a zombie or it's the Panzer shock thing, but I think it was a zombie crawler. Very impressive run, though. Now we're going to be going over the Zombie Chronicles map, starting off with Nectar and Toten with a round of 44. This was achieved by Bitim TV. You can see here he's mostly using the Shiva. It's really the only viable weapon in this other than the RK5, of course. As you can see here, though, he gets stuck in this corner and takes it down, unfortunately. But a good run. Now moving on to Varrook, and this will be the quick revive side. We have round 30, and this was achieved once again by Bitim TV. He's mostly staying in the center spawn room area of the spawn room. It's the only place that is really viable to train in, and unfortunately he takes it down just here. Again, just bad luck and got himself hit too many times, but an impressive run nonetheless. Next up we have Shinonuma with the round of 48 by Element Darkness. He's mostly using the Shiva here. He sees that insta-kill, but before he can even grab it, he gets stuck on something really annoyingly. But what a tragic way to go down, but a very good run. Next up, we have the best COD Zombies map of all time, Kinuro Toten Black Ops 3. And for this, we have the world record of 56, and this is again by Element Darkness. Unfortunately, it doesn't show us gameplay from going down, it just pauses at the end, so I'm assuming that's where the run actually ends. And that's what got submitted to Zombies World Records, so a very good run. Now we have Ascension with round 25, and this is by Amryzen. Unfortunately, the quality isn't the nicest, but it doesn't matter, we can still kind of make out what's going on. Next up, we see him killing himself in the game, so I'm assuming 55 was the round he wanted to get to. Funnily enough, it's one round over the previous world record. A very good run. Next up, we have Shangri-La with the world record of 52, and this is by Platinum, I believe his name is. And he has all of his perks from the monkeys, of course. He's mostly using the Shiva, as you can see from the gameplay here. The one thing with this is that Widow's Wine can sometimes be more of a detriment than a benefit because it'll get you stuck in certain places. You can't really train around the zombies. But it looks like he throws all of his grenades away at the start of the rounds. And with bad luck, he takes one down and then he takes another down as well. And he just kind of knows that, yeah, this is it, there's no point in going on, and then ends the game. Now we'll be going on to Moon with round 80, and this is by Bitim TV once again. Just like the Black Ops 1 version, you know, you can get your Jug, you can get your Pack-a-Punch M1911s, which makes it a little easier. Also having the RK5 as well, once you beat the Super Easter Egg in Black Ops 3, it means that you can get that in the spawn room as well, so you have a gun that does kill infinitely forever. As long as you have ammo for that, that is. He looks like he has pretty good control over the zombies the entire game for the most part. And with the zombies running a little slower in the spawn room on Moon and the Moon in general for the most part, it sometimes makes it a bit easier, but with the zero gravity, it can make the zombies act a bit funny as well. It can lead to situations like this where you kind of get stuck and then you go down. But a great run nonetheless. Now moving on to our last run in this, it is going to be Black Ops 3's Origins. With the world record of 47, this was achieved by Bitum TV once again. He keeps going for these Zombie Chronicle world records. And he actually goes down here, but he just ends the game as well. So very impressive run. Now moving on to all the Infinite Warfare zombie world records. We're going to be starting off with zombies in Spaceland with the world record of round 51 in the spawn room. In the spawn room, you're going to have access to your quick revive obviously, but zombies in Spaceland actually has a drop that you can get that Pack-a-Punch is your current weapon. So it means that it makes the spawn room challenges a little bit easier. Unfortunately, he gets swiped a few times here. He tries to use his Pack-a-Punch pistol and it kind of stucks him in place a little, but a very impressive round 51 nonetheless. Now moving on to Raven the Redwoods with the world record of round 30 by Mr. Mo. It looks like what we're doing here for the most part is we're using these gas grenades to really progress through the rounds. That with his melee weapon and then his M1 Garand as well. As you're going to see here, though, he takes a pretty unlucky down by just getting caught up in the zombies too much, causing him to lose his match. We next up have Shalong Shuffle with round 45 by Bobber. I don't really like Shalong Shuffle, but I can appreciate people that do like it. His run's pretty good, and then the game just cuts out. It doesn't say if he goes on or is it flawless or whatever, but a pretty good run regardless. And now time for our last map in Infinite Warfare Zombies, Attack of the Radioactive Thing. We have the world record of round 23. And this is by Myrasmo. This spawn room challenge looks probably like maybe one of the most difficult, if I'm being completely honest. There's just so much going on, and you have really not a lot of space to do anything as well. I think the only reason he's gotten so far is because his Hailstorm pistol is a special variant of it that maybe does a bit more damage. And he ends up blue screening right here as well. Beast from Beyond isn't on this list because that first room challenge works a lot differently to the rest of the ones of this map, so that's Infinite Warfare world records. Now we are going to fire through all the World War II world records. The world record for the Final Reich is round 29 by OSO Moisty. That's actually pretty insane, but he takes it down here. For Grossenhaus, we have a world record of 64, and this is achieved by Mandy. For the Darkest Shore, we have a world record of 34, and this is achieved by ZI0. Ends up taking it down here, though. We then have round 41 on the Shadow Throne by Sampila. We then have I Love Controversy on the Frozen Dawn with the impressive round of round 76. We've definitely seen this guy on one of our lists before. I think it might have been the highest round achieved on maps. It wouldn't surprise me. We can see he ends up taking it down here. There's just too many zombies, but an incredible run nonetheless. So we have Bitum TV once again, and we're just going to fire through all of his world records on Black Ops 4 because he has a few. So on 9, he is round 61. On Blood of the Dead, he is round 57. On Classified, he is round 53. And then on Ancient Evil, he is round 51. Now moving on to Dead of the Night, we have ZSFR Max with round 33. Then we have ZKL for the world record for Voyage of Despair and Alpha Omega. So for Voyage of Despair, the world record is 61. Alpha Omega is 59. And going on to our last map, Tactor Toten with Bobber again, we have the round of 157. You can see the higher the rounds go, the more like the UI starts to freak out as well. Things go missing, the text changes. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Now we'll be doing Cold Wars and Vanguard's one together because there's not many maps in these games. So first of all, we have D Machine by Pikachu with round 935. Firebase Z with round 476 by Tony. Pretty impressive run if I do say so myself. Round 265 by Drain BB. Then round 935 on Forsaken by Trick Shots. Now moving on to everyone's favorite game, Vanguard, we have Shunuma Reborn with round 33 by Senjai, I think his name is. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Then we have the best cut zombie map of all time, the Archon with round 36. Then this was done by Narrow Alloy 69, of course. Thanks everyone for watching. Go check out this video here, and goodbye.